Yo, what's up, family? This is your brother Asad Malik, and a couple of weeks ago, you remember I wrote this article, How to Start a Black-Owned Clothing Line with Less Than $100. And there's a part of this article that I think I need to go deeper into, and that is how to outsource and delegate. And so if you're following the tips that we gave you in that article, we referred you to panafricanalliance.com/Fiverr. So when you go to this URL, it's going to take you to a website that looks a little bit like this. This is the Fiverr landing page, and this is what you're going to use to outsource designs for your clothing line. So what Fiverr is it lets you hire freelancers for as little as $5. They can get all kinds of tasks done, as you can see up here in the menu. You have graphic design, digital marketing. They'll even write articles for you, do a little bit of video and animation, do some music production for you. But again, what we're focused on right now is how to find someone to design our t-shirts for us. Look, family, you don't want to be designing your own t-shirts. I've had countless experts on the podcast that tell you why, but I mean, if it's not something that you specialize in, then don't waste your time doing it. It's going to come out looking like hot garbage anyway. And I mean, it's $5. It's $5. So panafricanalliance.com/Fiverr. So here's how to find the perfect provider for your t-shirt design. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with a very basic search. We're going to look up t-shirt design, right? And I know I misspelled that, but whatever, flow with me. All right, so we see here that we have 3,206 results. How do we find the best? So we're going to go over here to refine results. We've already selected t-shirts and merchandise, right? So this gives us about 585 providers, as you'll see here. Now that's a lot of providers. Let's try and narrow it down. When it comes to delivery time, I don't want a delivery time that's longer than, maybe 5 days. So 7 days is a little long for me to wait for my designs. And I'm impatient. I'm ready to make some money, right? We also don't want something that is express or 24 hours because typically these designs are rushed. And so I like to go with 3 days for my delivery time. Okay, so different Fiverr providers offer their services at different rates. So you see this provider is offering their services at $50, and then the one right next to that provider is offering their services for $15. Well, what's the difference? Usually the difference is just the provider wants to see if they can milk you for a little bit more money. That provider may think that because they have a dope portfolio, they can charge $65 for a design. And while, sometimes that might be true, I've found that I get the same quality from a $10 to $15 gig as I do from a $65 to $85 gig, right? So for my budget, I don't want to pay more than $10. And remember, we are launching our t-shirt line for less than $100, right? So we on a budget. So let's knock it down to $10. This gives us, again, 585 producers. Here's where we're really going to knock this number down, right? When we're looking at our seller rank, you're going to see new seller, rated seller, and then top rated seller, right? So when it comes to new sellers, you want to avoid them because, first of all, they may be inexperienced. Second of all, they may have had an account previously that they had to shut down because they had so many negative reviews. And third, why go with a new seller when you can go with someone who already has experience? And so we always want to select rated seller. When your seller delivers your end result, you want to make sure that they're sending you the source file. So a source file is a file that you can manipulate with a program like Photoshop if you need to. In other words, instead of it being the finished graphic, you want the source file. So that's what we're going to select. This knocks our number of service providers down to about 338. Still a lot of service providers, though, so let's keep going. All right, so Fiverr gives you access to the entire world of service providers, which means you're going to get different language speakers. And of course, if you're listening to this, we want English speakers. That's going to knock us down to about 331 providers, all right? So we went down from something like 1,700 or 5,000 at the very beginning all the way down to 331. That's still a lot of providers to choose from, right? Now I want you to go here to sort by, and we're going to sort by best selling. What this is going to show you are the Fiverr providers who have the highest number of orders with the best feedback ratings. So we see more than 1,000 people have given this provider, 4.9 out of 5 stars. Same thing here, 877 reviews for a total of 4.9 stars. And so this is a great place to start. Now, here's where it becomes a little bit more art than it is science. I like to just scroll through, and if I already have a design in mind, I want to find somebody whose featured image is kind of close to the style or the design that I'm looking for, right? So for the sake of this video, we're just going to select this provider right here. So when you get to the designer's page, there are a couple of things that you want to look for. The first thing you want to look for are the number of revisions that you are allowed. In other words, if you get a design back and it's not what you were looking for initially, and typically it won't be, you want to be able to get a revision. Some providers only offer you maybe like 3 or 4 revisions, but this provider offers unlimited revisions. That's what we're looking for. Something else that you want to look for is their average response time. In other words, if you have a question or if you submit your order, how soon will they get back to you? And this seller gets back to you in about an hour. So that's good too. That's what we're looking for. This seller is from India, so some things may be lost in translation, but in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to say to this provider to get exactly what it is that you're looking for. But before we place our order, let's just look through a few of the designs that this seller's already done. All right, so that's kind of dope. Not my style, but it looks pretty good. All right, super basic, but still looks great. So some decent looking typography designs. Look all right. So I think this provider might work. Let's go ahead and place our order, and let's get this provider started, right? All right, so a few days ago, I saw an Atlanta shirt, because you all know that I am an Atlanta native. I'm an ATLian, but I saw an Atlanta shirt that I like. And this is similar to the type of shirt that I want. Instead of saying Atlanta, we're going to replace those words with Africa, and it's going to be a red, black, and green shirt. So this is the design that we are going to base our design off of. So we're going to go back to Fiverr. We're going to go ahead and place our order. And once you've paid your $5, the seller is going to go ahead and ask you what it is specifically that you want on your shirt. So there are a couple of things that you need to do to make sure that the design that you get complies with what you're going to need to print this shirt out. In other words, later on in this process, you're going to be using something called Printful to print and deliver your shirts. But even if you're not using Printful, any designer is going to ask you for the same specifications. And so we are going to get very specific about what it is that we want from this designer. This is important. And just to give you an idea of why this is important, if you say that you want your letters to be red in India, and remember this provider is from India, red in India may be darker or lighter than the kind of red that you're envisioning. And so we've got to get super specific. I'm going to show you how in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and answer some of these questions. So this provider is asking us, what is the exact text on the design, right? And so I'm going to put number 1 to refer to that first question. So I'm writing that the only word that I want on the shirt is the word Africa. However, the word should be repeating in the same way that you see the words "So Atlanta" on the example of the shirt that I'm attaching. So you all remember I showed you the example of the shirt that I want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach that same image to the message. And so that way the provider will see an example of what it is that I'm looking for. However, I'm going to make this a little more specific to make sure that he does it the way that I want. The second question that he needs answered is, what color would you like to see in the design? So earlier I said if you just imply that you want red, or you imply that you want black, or you imply that you want green, it's not going to work out. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to Google color HTML picker, and I'll try and include a link to one of these websites, maybe W3 Schools, in the notes or in the description of wherever you're watching this video, so you can just click through and go straight here. And you're going to get very specific about the color that you want. Let's say you wanted blue. You're going to get very specific about the color of blue that you want. Let's say this color is the color that you want. And here's the code that you're going to copy and send to your provider. All right. You can go lighter, you can go darker, but this way you know for damn sure that they're giving you the right colors that you want. All right. So we're going to go over here. And not only am I going to tell him what the colors are, I'm going to give him the order that the colors should appear in. Otherwise, he'd send me a design that's, green, red, and black, and that's not what we're looking for. So just to make sure that our provider gets this right, I'm going to reiterate what it is that I want. So for us to be able to use this design in places like Printful or Amazon, there are certain specifications that need to be met. I mentioned this before. So I'm going to let him know that the background of the final image should be transparent. Look, if you get an image back and it has a colored background that's black or white or whatever, you can't use it because that'll print out on the t-shirt. You also need a file delivered in a certain format. That format needs to be either AI, PNG, or EPS. Now, don't worry about what all that means. And also, don't worry about trying to write all this down. Check the description, and I'll include a copy of exactly what you need to paste to your provider to make sure you get the image that meets the needs that you need to get this thing done. So really, that meets all the requirements that your seller is going to need to get started on your design, because this seller asked for whether or not this is for a man, woman, or unisex. I mean, they don't really need to know that. Just give me the design, bruh. I'll decide what to do with it. What is the preferred size of the design? Well, that's built in 150 DPI. That is the preferred size of the design. Sample work, we've already attached that. Make sure you do the same. Always send them an example of what it is that they're looking for, or that you're looking for, rather. The more information you give them, the more likely it is that you're going to get what you want the first go round. And so we're done here. I'm going to check back in with this designer and with you once they submit their first draft, and we'll take a look. If we need some revisions, we'll grab those revisions. If not, then we will be ready to go on to the next step. All right, so welcome to the future. Let's take a look at what we have. This provider did deliver on time, which is always a great thing. So at first, I guess he mistook whatever it was that I typed. He added the words Africa, comma, however. That is not what we were looking for. And so I had to request a revision, put in that unlimited revisions to the test. And sure enough, he was able to come back, make all the fixes that I wanted. I wasn't happy with how the text turned out. It looked a little too, it was just too high, too tall, if that makes sense, right? And so I asked for a few more revisions, and true to his word, he accommodated every request that I made until ultimately we ended up with something that I liked, and it looked a little something like this. This is what your final file should look like. Completely transparent, clear background, and that's what this is, because when we jump over to Printful and upload our design, we want something with a completely clear, transparent background so the color of the shirt shows through, you know what I mean? So let's take a look at the finished product. Now, I've already uploaded the design to Printful. I've already created some shirts just as an example to show you what the end result looks like. So two super simple designs, simple colors, nothing spectacular. Maybe I'll do another one in black and change the black text of Africa to gold or something like that so that it shows up on a black t-shirt. But this is just really basic, a simple design to show you how the process works. I'm sure you can come up with something much, much better, and when you do, make sure you let us know. And you can let me know on any of our social media accounts. Tag me on Instagram at Pan-African Alliance, Twitter, we're at Pan-African Unity, Facebook, just do a search for Pan-African Alliance. Hit us up on the website, panafricanalliance.com, anywhere that we are, or leave a comment below letting me know if this was helpful for you. So really simple, straightforward process for $7, which, as you can see, you will make back in the price of selling one t-shirt. So for, $5 plus the $2 surcharge that you're going to pay for. So for $7, you got a t-shirt design and you're ready to go, and you're in business. No going to the t-shirt shop and having them drawing up concepts by hand and waiting for them to print out, 500 shirts and then having to buy them in bulk and then, saving them at home in a cabinet or something like that and then having to go to flea markets and stuff. None of that. So in just a few minutes to a few days, you should have a fully functional t-shirt shop up and running with unique custom designs made by people who know what they're doing, because you've outsourced it to people who have experience in this field instead of trying to do it yourself. Don't be out there trying to make your own t-shirts. And that's it, family. So go to panafricanalliance.com/Fiverr. Get started. They don't just do t-shirt designs over there. They do all kinds of things. And so if you need a writer for your website, if you need video animations done, you need anything with music done. I've never used business, but they have financial consulting, business tips, data entry. I heavily rely on virtual assistants to get a lot of the work done that you see here. And for my real estate business by day, I am a real estate investor. And so I use virtual assistants to track down information on property owners and, do whatever else it is that I need done. So definitely take advantage, family. Head to panafricanalliance.com/Fiverr and try it out today. That's all I got for you. Peace.